Hi everyone, welcome to Border Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie and this is the second episode of the Tier 10 Clan Wars featuring Pyro on the Asian server in the recent 5th campaign, Steel Corridor campaign. These two replays here, two replays both on Himmelsdorf, and of course this is the one where Hilly gets a game. It's good to see the commander getting a run in Clan Wars. Doesn't happen much where I am, but anyway, they keep me around for laughs and giggles, I suppose. But here we are on Himmmelsdorf. This first replay is against Curry clan. Curry, a reasonably new clan. I guess it's players that have been around for a while, but they're all formed a new clan. Don't really know much about Curry, but they seem to be doing something that's not too unusual on Himmelsdorf. You can see they've got a bit of a presence in the northeast corner. Not much else has been spotted. Looking at the Pyro guys, again, spread out quite nicely, aiming to maximise their vision, which is what Pyro do very, very well. Now this, as usual, this is from Skull's perspective, and Skull's driving his AMX 50B, their Tier 10 French autoloader. He's looking for shots on those tanks there. Gets one shot into, I think it was the Object 140, and you can see Safi in his bat chat. He loves his bat chat. He put a fair bit of damage into those two tanks down the E1 area as well. Looks like the Pyro guys are getting out of that area, but Skull takes the opportunity to try and put a shot into one of those heavies, but it looks like it's a little bit hot. Looks like the Curry guys are pushing quite well down the 2 line. Looking at them, quite often you see in a lot of the replays that when clans come up against well-known clans like Pyro, they often do a little bit of a camp, but it looks like they've pushed down the 1-2 line quite well. Pyro they've got an Object 140 up on top of the hill. Looks like that's Little Timmy, and he's backed up by the T11 OE5 on the hill. Got the heavy tanks in the middle, the Batchat, the only Batchat, that's Safi, going for another scouty run, having a look at what's happening up the Banana Road. But it looks like the vast majority of the Curry players are down the 1-2 line. 11 tanks have been spotted, and 10 of those tanks have been spotted in this southeastern area. And now this is, in this replay, this is where it gets a little bit different, I guess you would say. It's, I guess you might, I don't know, you might call this an aggressive camp, if that's the right thing to do. I'm just going to turn the free camera mod on and have a look over here. This is where you can see on the mini-map where we're looking from. This is where the Curry guys are. There's a 113 that's spotted, as well as a T11 OE5. But it looks like the vast majority of the Curry clan guys are in this southwestern corner, I should say. Safi staying up in the middle with his bat chat, looking for some vision, looking to see where the remaining 4 tanks are from Curry clan. Obviously the Pyro lads have lots of heavy tanks around the base, and by Curry pushing this 1-2 line, they've basically forced the Pyro guys to stay in their cap. And you can see there's an Object 140. That's that same Object 140 that was getting shot at by Safi and Scale earlier in their French autoloaders. And there's a mouse back here, as well as an American tank destroyer, the T11 OE3. And this other Object 140 playing around in the northeastern corner. We can't see that far away from this point of view, but I'm pretty sure Safi's having a little bit of fun with him, as well as this Object. Is it the Object 260 up the top? So we move back to Skull's point of view, and the Pyro guys are moving around a little bit, and it looks like these tanks here, they've pushed down the 1-2 line, and they've done that quite aggressively, and I like that. I like to see when clans come up against clans such as Pyro, I'd like to see them have a red hot go and push right in, but now they've sort of just stopped, which is a little bit odd. They're obviously not pushing down this road right at the bottom of the map, because those E100s would see them quite easily. And they're not pushing down this one either. This diagonal road at J3 3, 4, because this E100 would see him as well. And these guys are obviously holding back. Looks like they're the auto loaders, a couple of AMX 50Bs, and of course the T57 Heavy, and that Object 140 that copped a bit of a hiding early on. And now this is part of the game where, without giving too much away, not a great deal happens. They're holding back quite conservatively here, the guys from Curry Clan. And the Pyro guys just making them... I'm tipping that Pyro own this land, that's why Pyro aren't really pushing into them. But they've pushed themselves into that corner, and now they need to either continue the push into the Pyro guys, or they need to get out. I think getting out would be quite dangerous, because these IS-7s in the middle would probably spot them pulling back out, as well as Safi in his bat chat. But now they've got to here, they need to commit. Now obviously the Curry guys probably don't know exactly where all of the Pyro lads are, but if they did one heavy push either down the south or through the guts here, with their numerical advantage, they'd probably do a lot better by pushing through maybe this road here, this diagonal road at J3 and 4. They're taking these two IS-7s out of the game, the bat chat. The E5 won't be able to do anything from up there, and this medium tank as well. And even some of these tanks might struggle to counter push, if you like. They'd probably get there eventually, but if the Curry lads had pushed into here, into this lone E100, probably shot him from this corner, they probably would have had a better chance of winning this game. But anyway, it's a case of hurry up and wait. We're nearly down to the halfway mark in this battle. There's 8 and a bit minutes to go. 0-0 is still the score, and the Pyro players very comfortable, I guess, in that area where they are. They all, pretty much all of them. Skims looks like he's taken a little bit of damage in his IS-7, and one or two other players might have taken 1 or 2 hits, but they're all pretty much full health. The guys from Curry Clan have pretty much been taken a damage. Some of their tanks have taken some damage, not all. And as I said earlier, they probably don't know exactly where all the Pyro lads are, but if they had have, once they got down to this area, if they had have pushed, made a decision, either push in along this road, or the bottom road. Obviously the bottom road would be the hardest, but these tanks wouldn't be able to shoot them from the bottom road, because there's that building to the bottom of the cap circle. If they had have pushed up here, they only would have had to deal with one IS-7 and an E3. If they'd have pushed down here, an E100 and probably 1 or 2 AMX 50Bs. But if they've just sort of stopped and kicked back, which is, when I first saw the start of this replay, I thought, this is good. This is a clan who's going to really push into Pyro and give them a good run for their money. But it looks like, you know, they've gotten to the southwestern flank and just put the brakes on. As we fly around in free camera mode again, you can see this is the area where they've all been sitting back. That 113 in a very defensive position. He's probably trying to get, I think that's, oh, he's got there, he's sitting behind some rubble or some pieces of building. And the tanks that were in this area clearly have moved out now. Those E100s would comfortably see them. No worries at all. But again, with only 6 minutes to go, it's a waiting game. As often is the case, I've been playing Tier 10 Clan Wars for a long time, and often that is the case. You know, often clans wait till the last 5 minutes to have a little bit of an all-in brawl, but I think that might play into the hands of Pyro with they've got 4 auto loaders. You know, in a short amount of time, those 4 auto loaders can do a hell of a lot of damage, pull out, reload, and then put out another massive burst of damage. So it's just a case of waiting, and now you can see there's a few more tanks gone back to the base for the Curry lads. But they've still got a good presence in this southwest corner, so neither neither team wanting to blink, if you like, at this stage of the game with just over 5 minutes to go. Now the E100s are starting to roll on the Curry Clan side of the map. You can see them up the top with the E3. They're getting spotted probably by the IS-7 or maybe even the E5. So there's 3 tanks there, 4 if you include the Object 140, so that we know there's only 11 tanks left. If that mouse is still back up at C3, that just leaves 10 tanks down in the corner. With the score still at 0-all, there's only 4.5 minutes left to go. I'm tipping that Pyro do own this land. I don't think they would have waited this long if they were on the attack, but of course Pyro's still in the campaign. You're not just after the land. You don't just want to win the land. You want to pick yourself up as many fame points as you can, so you can get yourself the prizes, including the tier 10 reward tanks. Sounds like a bit of shooting starting to happening. Probably down here. They sound like E100 guns to be down the bottom. And Safi picks himself up the first kill. He breaks the drought, and then Skims gets taken out of the game by the enemy T-57, and the score's at 2-1 as Mad Insane, that's a pretty cool name, he also picks up a kill. Still a bit of a conservative game, only 3.5 minutes to go as Safi takes aim at the American tank destroyer. Gets 1 shot in, gets 2, and he's looking for a 3rd shot. He's hoping he's going to go through. He misses the 3rd, and the 4th. Don't really get him. He does. He picks up the kill with his 4th shot and waits for the reload. And he's, as you can see, and I've mentioned this before, when he plays the autoloader, the big tier 10 AMX 50B, he runs food, and that food really helps with the reload time. You can see the reload time on the left hand side of the aim circle is climbing up considerably quicker than it would without food, and he's probably got brothers in arms and all those other kind of things which help his tank go a little bit better. Less than 3 minutes to go now. The wait and see game, the peekaboo and the let's see who blinks first is slowly happening. It looks like a 50B and a T-57 might be moving on towards Route 44 in his IS-7. Mad Insane gets taken out up on the hill, and there you go. Pyro are starting to make their move now. They're pushing through the banana road, and these guys decided not to push in the end. It doesn't matter because the E100's taken out the AMX 50B, a very handy tank to get rid of. IS-7 takes a hit, but one of the 50Bs ends up taking out that T-57. The mouse gets killed up the other end of the map by the old mate Beached Asbro in his Object 260. He loves that tank. Now as a 2-minute siren goes, it scores 7-2, and Pyro are starting to get serious here. Skell's down to only 292 hit points, gets taken out by the IS-7 in the end. He did pick up over 2,200 hit points of damage, but with the score an 8-4, 9-4 now, you'd like to think that Pyro have got this all wrapped up. As you look at the minimap, you can see there's a tank climbing up to the mountain, up to the hill on the eastern side to go after these last 2 tanks here, and then it's a big all-in brawl in the southwestern part of the map. Plenty of Pyro players taking damage, but they're all putting plenty of damage out as well. Only 1 tank left in the southwest side, and with a minute to go, they're desperately trying to catch that E100 and the Object 140 on the eastern side of the map, running away on that hill. Looks like it's one of the 50Bs has found that E100, just looking at the mini-map, and the Object 907 is going to help him. And they're going to focus fire that E100 down, and then focus on the last tank, the Object 140. But all in all, as you can see, a pretty handy result from Pyro. What was looking like a very, very campy game, they certainly turned it around, and a comfortable win in the end, 15-5. It certainly wasn't looking like that to me, especially during the first 10 minutes of the game. It was looking like a little bit of a camp fest. As we look at the post-game battle results, as usual, a very good even spread of a very good even spread of damage by all the Pyro lads. Safi topping the score in his bat chat. He absolutely loves that bat chat. He regularly streams and demonstrates exactly the right way to play the French medium autoloader. And of course the 50B is doing pretty well as well, but everyone doing their part in Pyro on Himmelsdorf in the first round of this double shot of Tier 10 Clan Wars action from Pyro, the eventual winners in the early time zone campaign on the Asian server. Okay, on to round 2, and I promise this one won't be quite as campy as the last game, but this is Pyro versus Tim, the Immortals, the Immortal Mortals. Try saying that after a few beers. The Immortal Mortals. And yet again, Ron Himmelsdorf, pretty much the same lineup. A lot of familiar faces there, and a lot of people playing very, very similar lineup indeed. There's two E3s this time. There's three E5s. Billy, the lone bat chat driver this time. Safi's taken out his Object 260. A few 113s, a fast Chinese heavy tank, which is almost as fast as a medium tank, and of course the trusty old AMX 50Bs, 3 of them. So I've chosen to take a total of 4 autoloaders in this game, the Batchat and the 3 AMX 50Bs. And it looks like this time Skell's going to be climbing up the hill. He's got plenty of friends on his way. Hilly's leading the charge. A Fox Q also in the 50B. Those E5s are on their way. Party and Rasco in the FOC 155. Don't often see a FOC 155 used in clan wars, but you often see clans like Pyro do things that are a little bit different, and they often work well, and it's very refreshing to see. As they climb up to the hill, I can see they're not going to be alone on this hill. 50Bs hesitating a little bit to go up to the hill, but then they said, yep, let's go. And it looks like the Batchat and the FOC are going to be keeping an eye down this road to make sure they don't get pushed. There was only about 3 tanks, 2 T57 heavies and an E5. FOC cops a big fox off of the focus fired well that Tim got. And it looks like there's 4 tanks there, and quite a lot of tanks down Heavy Tank Alley as well. Not as much action in this replay on the 1-2 line, but plenty of action on all other areas of the map. Now as you look at the mini map, you see the Pyro guys are just relocating here, getting a little bit more presence here to focus on this corner. And Safi can see that IS-40 is saying thank you very much, I'll take that free damage all day, as he pulls back and reloads. Did get spotted when he was shooting there, so he moves back to a little bit more safe position. He doesn't want to give away any hit points too cheaply, and you can see on the mini map those 113s, the 260 and the E3s all pushing into these 2 or 3 tanks of the south-west corner, while these guys just hold up Banana Alley against those E5s and the E100s. Now Skell's fully loaded now, and he's looking to unleash a little bit more pain on the enemy side. He gets 1 shot into a T57, another shot into the same T57. Always good to get some damage out before taking it. You can see Skell's already done 2,000 damage. That shot doesn't do too much to the E5, and neither does that. But he's lucky enough not to have taken too much damage there. Some of those shots bounced, some tracked. The other AMX 50B gets taken out of the game as the T57 comes around the corner. Hilly gets taken out, and it's 4-3 the score. This battle on the hill is really in a little bit of trouble. Looks like that T57 is reloading, so Skell will say no worries at all. This will be free damage, but he is getting shot from behind as he focus fires down the American autoloader. That last shot, not too good on the aim on that last shot. That went straight into his tracks, but he did his job. He did over 3,000 hit points of damage, but the score's 5-5 now. This might be the first loss we've seen on World of Tanks for stewiejp from the Pyro lads. Now looking at Safi's point of view in his Object 260. Object 260, the last and final reward tank for the personal missions. The big boom from the real hayfish, the TW1 OE3. That's a massive gun on that American tank destroyer, and they are the 113s have obviously regrouped and are coming back into the fight. After they cleaned up, they went back. They're coming around at a different angle, and it looks like that Tim have about 4 tanks still on the hill. Looks like 3 of them are T57 heavies and 1 is an E5 by the looks of it. And the call's been made. Put some cap pressure on him. So while Safi's doing the right thing back here, sitting on the cap, that siren in the background will be playing on Tim's mind as these tanks push into the rest of these heavy tanks. And it looks like Pyro have the numerical advantage in that skirmish at the bottom of the square. So if he gets tracked and takes a bit of damage from, that's Professor Squirrel. That's the same T57 heavy that that Skull was putting damage into earlier. And Safi's hoping that he hasn't reloaded. Doesn't manage to land that last shot. I think by the time he's spotted again, he'll probably be reloaded. 11-10 is the score. 2 tanks are sitting on the cap, the E3 and the Object 260. And a lot of pretty badly wounded tanks on Tim's side, but some of the Pyro lads aren't doing much better either, so they need to be careful here. 23 seconds until that cap counter goes off. Are they going to try and reset? 12-10 is the score after that kill. There's 2 T57s. We know the Professor Squirrel is on 250 odd health. No idea what the other 2 are, but I'm sure they've taken a lot of damage. 5 seconds left on the cap clock. Is it going to be a cap? This will be the first cap win we've seen from Pyro on this channel, and indeed it is in the end. Winning 12-10 and winning by cap, the Pyro lads on Himmelsdorf against Tim. And yet again, as we look at the post-game battle results, plenty of players doing plenty of damage and a good bit of teamwork in the end. Andrew, 1996, I used to be in a clan with him. He's a hell of a nice guy. He's absolutely smashed that one in his T57 on the Tim side. And in fact, all the T57s did a really good job, but not quite good enough to stop Pyro capping out at the end, even though they were winning 12-10. But they'll take the win any day. An awesome couple of replays from Pyro, the overall winners on the early time zone on the Asian server from the 5th Clan Wars campaign, Steel Corridor. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the replays. Plenty more coming this year. Take care and see you all next time.